a Back to Work Wednesday on the CHGO Bears Podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app, use promo code CHGO when you sign up. What's going on, Bears fans? Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, an empty seat.
Mystery guest is it's the first time we've ever done this where we've built it up just to have somebody walk in on the set live. This is a legendary guest who's got serious Chicago chops, who's longtime Tribune, now author, great tennis player, which is my favorite thing about him.
Is he better than you?
That's a debate that we probably shouldn't have right now, but he's a very talented tennis player. I'll leave it at that. I have pride in my. But there he is, walking in, Teddy Greenstein with us. Quarterback Dads, the book. Talk some Bears. This is an exciting program right now.
Teddy?
That was better than like a walk-up song. That was pretty good. What's up, the car?
It really built it up.
How we doing?
We're doing great. We're happy to have you, buddy.
What a set. This is gorgeous, man.
I couldn't believe how happy people were to have you in here today. Lawrence Benedetto's like smiling for 3 weeks now.
I don't know. Teddy G's my
popular,
guy.
friendly guy.
LB and I, we've
go way back.
We've had some wars, man. We've had some wars over flushes and straights and full houses. It's been too long since we've played some cards, man. We gotta get get going again.
You go that way. My first thought goes to Le Cochon Butcher in New Orleans. You
just wanted to show off some French, didn't you?
Well, my wife is a French teacher by trade. It was me and her and you and Dave Revson. We were down there covering the Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Yeah, it was a great lunch we had.
Yeah, tough to have a bad meal in New Orleans. I'm sure the company was awful, but the food was great.
It was great.
Great to see you again, bud.
Yeah, it's great to see you too.
Well, we're happy to have you here.
Awesome.
Teddy Greenstein, of course, Chicago, like you said, Chicago chops, Chicago legend.
Ooh, I like Chicago chops.
Yeah.
Let's open a restaurant, Chicago
let's do
chops.
that.
I think the first time I ever was on anything where a camera was in front of myself and Teddy was 98, something like that. And that's not true. It was like 2007, to be more accurate.
Could have been 98, man. I got to the Tribune in 96.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
How many teams in this town have you covered?
All right, well,
time?
Yeah, started out, I was covering Notre Dame, as I like to tell people. It's like, you're old when the first team you covered, Lou Holtz was the coach.
Whoa.
So Lou Holtz was the coach his final year, then Bob Davie. Then I got called in, and my editor was like, hey, I got some news. I'm like, good news or bad news? He's like, just news. I'm like, what's up? He's like, we're putting you on the White Sox. I said, okay. I'm like 24, I don't have to worry about family stuff. Great. Covered the Sox for 2, Cubs for 3, Sox for another. Then Ed Sherman is moving around. Andy Bagnotto is leaving the Tribune. So I get the beat that I really love, National College Football / Big Ten Football / Northwestern. And then I get to cover a bunch of golf, sports media. I hope I wrote nice things about you guys. And then, and then just like a little, and then a decent amount with the Bulls. So in the early days when we would send like 12 guys to the NBA Finals, I was, writing the Judd Bushler sidebar, sometimes Dennis Rodman. That was a pain. Little Blackhawks, occasional Bears, but not much NFL. So it's been great being out here.
That's why I wanted you on the Bears podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Now I'm at PointsBet, and it used to be, I'd say, college versus NFL. I was probably 80% college, 20% NFL. And now it's probably 60% NFL, in part because of just the betting that goes on. It's just such a big deal. And also, it just seems like the Sundays have become more exciting than the Saturdays. I mean, we get a couple good college football games here and there, but we are guaranteed on Sunday and Monday and Thursday night sometimes to get great games.
So what have the Bears been like this year? Because my prediction before the season was, regardless of what the record ends up being, I think they're going to be good against the spread.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if that's really worked out or not. You tell me.
I'd say it has not worked out. Now, here's something I know, Adam.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, our number one most bet upon team last Sunday, of all the NFL teams where we took the most money, was on the Bears. Everybody loved the Bears -2.5, or it got to 3 at kickoff.
That pisses me off.
And it looked so good for a while. I mean, I feel bad for everybody who sat in the cold. I mean, they saw an exciting game, but to lose like that at the end is just so sad. But yeah, I mean, the Bears have had some good spread moments, but they've also we'd have to look it up, but they have to be under 500 spread wise, I would think. I mean, I was at that Commanders game. That one didn't work out because the final play.
They didn't cover against the Cowboys. They did cover against the Dolphins.
Yes. The bet that you should be making is just take the over on Justin Fields until proven otherwise.
Rushing yards.
Yeah.
Yes. Or combined. You can do both. That's right.
Like we've been actually having this conversation the last few weeks. Teddy is like, how high does that rushing yards line need to go before you're actually going to take the under? Because he's hitting the over in the second quarter.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's usually about 60.5. I feel like that's been the sweet spot. And you can't get it high enough. I think our traders are reluctant to go to 65, 70, 75. Because there's going to be a week, right, where the other team figures it out. And also we have this alternate style of betting called points betting where you can bet per yard. So, I mean, look, to your point, Carm, that is the bet of the year in the NFL. If you've been betting Justin Fields over on rushing yards every week, you can buy a Tesla right now. There's no question.
Right?
Yeah, it's if you want to do that, though. I think
that's right. I don't support
Elon
that guy.
Fired himself at Twitter today already.
See that?
He said he's going to hire a new CEO.
God.
Carmen, you want that job?
Yes, and yes, I do. I think it might be a slight pay raise. Not that I would try to do both. I'd love to stay, and I could certainly figure that out.
As long as it doesn't impact your tennis schedule, you can do both jobs.
Right. Big match tonight, Schneiderman. Let's go.
Kirschenbaum.
Yeah,
Kirschenbaum.
You don't even know who you're playing.
Kirschenbaum.
How sad that he begged out a couple weeks ago. We had like an hour carved out on a Thursday afternoon, and he claimed injury.
I was supposed to play Teddy the day after I got injured. I'm still injured, so it was sad though.
We've not played singles, right?
We have not.
Yeah,
we have not. It's gonna be a battle.
Can we pass the hat and try to get some prize money for that?
I'll throw something in.
Hey, I think if we do it, it should be videoed at this point now that we're here. And
LB, as long as LB is involved, man, I'm in.
Yes.
I would watch it. I would watch it if you streamed it.
LB's ping pong game right now is. He took me out twice yesterday. Now he cheats.
Whoa,
how do you cheat?
Whoa.
What on the serve?
Yeah, exactly right. Yes,
hold on.
That's the only way of cheating in ping pong.
Cheats
right?
on the serve. Doesn't release the ball. You got. This is out of turn here because I should have called out LB before.
What are we talking about now? What am I doing wrong?
You don't release the ball when you serve. You hold it there and then you hit it, which allows your serve, which I was having trouble with yesterday, to be that much more dynamic, and it's illegal. Damn it. Now, nobody understands other rules here that I do that's illegal, so I won't mention them. The ball, you can't do the short serve. Balls can only bounce once on the other side and then off the table. If I do my little short thing to your backhand and that thing bounces twice, that's your point, technically, if you don't hit it.
It's a ball.
Moriano. We should be talking Bears, but
I'll be the judge of this. So we going to play after?
We're going to play after.
Yeah, I'm in.
We might have to stream that too. I didn't even understand half the things you just
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've been doing that.
Well, that's why, like at high level ping pong, they toss it way up in the air and then cut it. Right. And I mean, I want to let you guys know something. You're looking at a guy who covered table tennis in the Olympics in Rio. So I got some Chicago chops.
That's
here.
a flex.
I was going to say it's more Olympics than I've covered, so you win.
Yeah.
The look on Hoge's face with the toss of the ball was.
I do know what he's talking about though, because I've seen that. Where they hold the paddle like on the side.
Yes. It's a weird.
What the hell is that?
Well, they don't serve it hard. It's because they don't want it coming back super hard, and then it's boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Choppers.
I'd rather hear you talk tennis.
Well, and to defend the sport right now, because I'm seeing Braggs in their indoor tennis. They're coming at us with paddle.
Yeah, that's what I want.
It's really unfortunate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, we're supposed to play paddleball Sunday in Denver. No, Saturday morning before the wedding, and the kids slept in. The old child alarm clock didn't go off.
Oh,
which was a surprising move.
So you blew out. You wanted to play. By the way, I also love paddle and pickle. And I might like them more than tennis, so you and I are probably going to battle that out. But you were supposed to play paddle and you overslept?
Actually, right now I don't know if it was paddle or pickle, now that I think about it.
You're allowed to like it more, Teddy, but we're going to fight it. Just you would at least admit that that a tennis player is a better athlete than a paddle. It's a lot more difficult.
The best paddle players don't move more than 3 steps either way.
Right. So it's so everybody like this whole I'm really good at paddle, you're that ego that you're good at paddle cannot be brought to a tennis player. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think anybody's saying that.
Oh, I see it. There's a pro paddle league and there's people watching it and it's like.
You mean probably Pickle?
Oh, I do mean Pickle.
Yeah. Pickle's gotten
Pickle has a pro league. And people are paying money to see this stuff. And I'm like,
the new fad.
I went to the pickle tournament in Highland Park, so you're talking to the wrong guy. I was there
to the pickle
to support.
tournament.
I got a friend who was playing, man.
I'm trying
What's the difference?
I'm just trying. I want tennis to have a drop of the landscape anymore. Like when I was growing up, and it was McEnroe and Connors, and people watched Wimbledon at 8 a.m. And now
you're talking to the wrong people, man. You got to talk to
right. Well, now pick
the high-level U.S. tennis people.
Well, right, but you just had the greatest era in the history of tennis, and we should not be talking about this right now. But you just had Nadal and Federer and Djokovic, and it's the game's fine, but it didn't take off to where it was, and now. Pickle or paddle or whatever it is coming in and taking up real estate.
Isn't
it's
pickleball
annoying.
just it's like people?
No.
Yes.
It's like a cross between tennis and ping pong. But were you at the Laver Cup at the United Center?
I was a couple years back.
Yeah,
yes,
I mean,
I was.
that was honestly, I've covered some stuff. That was a
cool.
top 10 sporting event.
That was cool.
We need more tennis here in Chicago. If we did, maybe more people would like it.
Yes.
All right. Well,
yes.
You can start the CHGO tennis podcast.
Now you can talk about Khalil Herbert and DraftKings and
well, we will.
Points bet.
You're really in here to talk about your book, but we'll get to that in a little bit. We do have some Bears news we've got to cover here in the first segment of the show. Matt Eberflus already talking this morning and mentioned that Khalil Herbert should return at some point.
Yeah.
So
4 weeks.
He's going on IR, but it doesn't sound like he'll be lost for the rest of the season. He will miss 4 weeks, so won't be back until at least week 15. Also, the Bears went back into the Big Ten time machine and signed Taco Charlton.
Oh, Michigan?
Off
Taco.
the yeah.
Oh, man, there's nothing better than a Taco Charlton gif.
He's only the second most famous taco athlete now, right? I assume Taco Fall is still in the NBA.
Taco Fall.
I think Taco from the league is probably still higher. Than him.
I agree with you. Taco from the league is definitely number one. So Taco Charlton, former first-round pick of the Dallas Cowboys, who really just has not made it. Clearly. So he was on the Saints practice squad. You can only sign players to your active roster or off other teams' practice squad. That's what happened here. So he is joining the Bears today.
Hey, take flyers. Be aggressive, right? That's where you're at. Why not?
Yeah, Jack Sanborn has showed some stuff, right? Hasn't he been a bit of a revelation? Should have had an interception Sunday if not for that garbage call.
Did you like Sanborn in college as much as Adam Hoge liked Sanborn in college? Did you have a Sanborn take?
Well, he's basically modern-day Fitz, right? Or is he more outside than
he's
inside?
already past Fitz's NFL career.
Absolutely. Yeah, poor Fitz lasted 3 days of training camp with the Cowboys. But that same gritty, Big Ten guy.
By the way, no one recaps Fitz's NFL career better than Fitz does.
Yeah.
He does a good
What
job.
was his 40 time? 4.9 or something?
Something like that.
Hey, Fitz got a raw deal. Just know that 51. You should have been in the league 10 years. It was a misevaluation.
Wow.
He would completely.
I think it's worked out okay for him.
That's right.
He's done all right for himself. That is true.
But
but it is an interesting one, like how Sanborn has busted through that you're not Pat Fitzgerald. Like everybody wants to. He's every Bears fan that I've heard from compares him to. We do the race thing here. He's Jim Morrissey. He's
Sure.
And it's like I think we got to kind of just look at him as a player and not what color he is and understand what he's doing out there. Just a little bit, maybe, possibly.
Man, we're gonna hold hands now too.
Yes. Well, come on, man. Like this guy. I mean, I don't know if he's flying in. He's killing Jared Goff. Looks like a pretty good linebacker to me.
Well, look, he. The one thing I've been consistent on since the draft is he has football instincts. Like he's a football player.
Yes.
Now sometimes those guys are limited to the point where they're not going to be all pros, obviously, but they're going to. I felt pretty confident Sanborn was going to stick on this roster for at least 4 or 5 years, just being a guy who can help you.
It's a bold take that you had there.
But even I've admitted this week I didn't expect him to be getting 2 sacks in a game by the middle of the season as the starting Mike linebacker. I mean, that's pretty impressive. What caught my ear was when Corey Wooten was here Monday talking about how he was actually impressed with his speed.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would say was his weakness. But that's what we talk about. Playing speed is more important than your 40 time, always.
That's cool about Corey. I was supposed to go, and we have a mutual friend, Mike Kearney, and he said, hey, come on out Sunday to this golf simulator spot in Naperville.
He loves
Hit
golf.
it around. I know. He loves golf.
Wait, so were you there? Was that this Sunday? Someone posted some Instagram video. You were there?
I wasn't there. I couldn't make it. Yeah.
He hit the ball like 350 yards.
Does this surprise you?
Not really, because he
large
lets
guy.
us know about
Yeah.
his, as much as Nick Moriano reminds us he goes to the gym every morning. Corey does do a
Oh
good
my
job
God.
of giving us his golf update
Doesn't
every
he,
week.
Did he say he hits it like DeChambeau? Isn't that his style? Isn't he?
Yeah.
He just hits the shit out of the ball.
Bryson, has there ever been a Northwestern football player with like a better size, speed, athleticism combo? Maybe Dwayne Bates, but Corey was like, man, that dude's chiseled.
Total
He's a
unicorn
monster.
Yeah.
in Evanston. 100%.
Yeah.
And has told us multiple times in the last 3 weeks that he could still get like 20 snaps on the Bears front seven.
Uh-huh.
He's not yet. He doesn't claim he can rush the passer, but he says he can play the run still.
Correct.
Okay. I wouldn't tell him no.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell him no. I wasn't ready to debate that one.
No.
There's some good names in the chat here as far as the Sanborn comp. Hunter Hillenmeyer,
Yes.
Nick Kwiatkowski. Like, I just think, let's think outside the box of
Find
what
an
this,
African-American gentleman that you
right.
can
I'm just
compare
looking
him
for
to.
one. Just give me one. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's going to be Roquan either.
Mike Singletary.
Yeah,
But we also don't have to do that. It's been 2 weeks.
yeah, but
okay.
like darting around offensive linemen and getting to the quarterback is not a slow guy. And it's not all just his instincts.
I also think just looking at him, I think Sanborn's bigger.
Yeah.
He's a pretty big linebacker, actually. That's
And-
why it surprised me with the speed. So
I feel like that's a Carm question. He's always in the locker room.
yeah, you're the one like staring at.
Easy.
Everybody looks in the locker room.
Easy. I do like to. There you go, Alex. Oh, he's Otis Wilson. Damn it, I don't know.
Otis
He's not
Wilson.
Otis Wilson, but he
Yeah, with the LOL.
Carm's like, give me one name. Give me one name. Yeah, no, that's wrong.
Otis
Lance
is,
Briggs. No.
Yeah, no. Otis was something. So was Lance. But I do think that one of the cool things that as we get access is to. You can see how incredibly well built some of these dudes are, and Sanborn is he's not the biggest guy in there, but
Sure.
he's fairly jacked. But he's not like I did not realize before coming out this year how ripped Jalen Johnson is. Now he looks different than the other Bear cornerbacks.
Yep.
I mean, he's a big dude.
Well, I would say like Charles Tillman was just like ripped out of his mind. Like could not have been in better shape and still kind of is, to be honest with you. Like
Didn't he row across Lake Michigan?
yes,
Yeah.
did.
He's probably in
Which,
good
by the way,
shape.
is insane. Oh my god.
And by the way, like that stuff matters. Cole Kmet is jacked. Oh, he's running over people after he has like it does matter. It's not there's a reason why football players spend that much time in the weight room. And then if we're gonna go way back in time, some that don't, who were super talented and drank all the time, and if he had stayed healthy, we'd have more than one Super Bowl in our lifetimes for those of us who are in our 40s.
Yeah, I mean,
Jim McMahon.
White Sox, Jim McMahon, sure. I mean, White Sox, I saw what Jamie Navarro looked like. And that, I think, symbolized how little he cared. And then you see what Frank Thomas's arms look like, and you're like, okay, that's a Hall of Famer. His arms are like our quads. Yeah.
Right. Mark Grace never put a pound on, and he drank and smoked cigarettes and lived a life. And he was supremely talented and hit singles.
Hand-eye coordination, man,
Right.
and great
He
defense.
hit doubles. Come on, give me a break.
Right? And some, a
singles
lot of
and doubles. Right.
A lot of doubles.
Right. But if that dude if he had gotten into the
possible.
90s trend of steroids and done what Sammy did, who knows what his numbers would have looked
How about
like. I'm not saying he should have done that
Jordan
part, but
Hicks as a comp here. AGM,
Yeah, that's interesting. I actually wanted the Bears
or-
to sign Jordan Hicks this year.
I like that.
So maybe they did better than that with
Someone said Morrow. I'm not sure that's a thing you'd want to hear.
I mean, hate to say it, but he might already be better than Morrow.
Oh, he's better than Morrow.
Well, off one game, yes.
He's better than Nicholas Morrow is
I
a
don't
nice
know.
guy.
Yeah.
Got a great personality.
he's a nice guy.
I mean,
All right.
he had his best game last week. I'll say that for Nicholas Morrow, I think. At least he flashed the most that he has. I don't know how
Did
he
he?
graded out. he flashed a couple times in the
Remember when
backfield.
Wooten broke down the whole video about how he was in the complete wrong spot
Oh,
on
that was
touchdown?
but okay. Yes, that happened, and that's happened every week.
Yeah, he was okay. All right. Got to tell you about ComEd for a second. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities we serve manage energy usage and lower energy bills. Now into the future, ComEd offers a wide array of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across our territory. Customers can inquire about how to upgrade outdated lighting to energy and money-saving efficient LED lights. Learn more about network lighting to operate your lights through your mobile device and track your facility's energy usage and more. Incentives have recently increased for indoor, outdoor lighting, and networked lighting controls, making these projects even more cost-effective than before. Visit ComEd.com/poweringbiz now to start saving money and energy. If you want to start a project, contact ComEd 1-855-433-2700. More information, you can also email businessee@comed.com or publicsectoree@comed.com.
And shout out to our friends at Green Ridge Farm, the Chicago local meat and cheese company, offering you the better all-natural option. We've got some Green Ridge Farm in the fridge here, Teddy. Maybe 1% chance we could grill some up while we're playing ping pong and make it a whole afternoon here. Perfect for tailgating, happy hour.
Great day for grilling.
Yeah, it's beautiful out.
Hey,
it's the start of grilling season.
It's a gas grill. It would take
always.
We could do it, man.
We could do it. Always a great day to grill.
I didn't bring a lunch.
Yeah, there we go. And when you, not only do they have the brats and everything else, but they also have the meat sticks, which come in chicken, Black Forest beef, jalapeno cheddar, spicy chili, delicious. And yes, you've got two brothers perfecting the small batch meals and meats and cheeses. You can find them, by the way, in your Costco refrigerated section. You will not be disappointed when you buy Green Ridge Farm. And right now, when you order any 3 meat products at greenridgefarm.com, we do include a pack of meat sticks in your cart for free simply by using CHGO at checkout. Green Ridge Farm, you make me happy. You make me smile.
Free meat sticks, Teddy.
I love those so much. Recently, we have a dog named Bo, and I love all those meat sticks and jerky and all that. My wife was like, I can't tell what's your food and what's his food. So, yeah, a bit of I'm trying to become an aficionado on jerky.
Is he named after Bo Nix, Bo Jackson?
A little bit Bo Obama's dog. Not to get political, but yeah, we.
Is he a Portuguese water dog? Is that why?
Good trivia there by LB.
Is that good trivia?
He knows his White House pups. Nicely done.
Why
Australian mini lab over here, but
okay.
good stuff there.
Why not Bo Ryan?
I do like Bo Ryan. Bo Ryan was part of the. He's
Ryan.
an 18 holes with alum there.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite
golf column.
things you used to do.
Thank you.
Which had to be the hardest work ever. Go play 18 holes with someone really cool and write about it.
There's a reason I called it journalism's greatest scam. I mean, play great golf courses with famous people. Like I played one time with Brian Kelly, and he just stops midway through, and he's like you're pretty smart because it's hard to get 5 hours with the Notre Dame coach. But, these guys all want to play golf on great courses, so they'd say yes.
Would the courses give it for free?
By the way, that sounds like something Brian Kelly would say.
Yeah, exactly. That little arrogance.
Hey, it's pretty hard to get 5 hours with me. Good job by you.
Teddy is a strategist. Which we can talk about the book in a second here, hand
me one of those copies
man.
over there. This is Quarterback Dads, which is really just honestly a really cool idea for a book. Check it out. But obviously, in this crazy world we live in, with there we go. Got the closer shot.
Nice.
There.
Hold it.
Steady.
We also have it's sitting right there on the set as well.
That's my copy. Notice it's opened and sifted and read into. I'm getting. You're an excellent writer, Teddy Greenstein. I enjoy. It's an easy read for those of us who did not pass advanced calculus. You can handle this book.
That's a great line about calculus and reading. That was fantastic. But no, I mean the chapters are short. It's basically one person per chapter. I wanted it to be where dads or moms or whoever, you got 10 minutes, you drop your kid off at practice, whatever, you can knock out a chapter. It is, I think, very digestible.
So you wrote it with Donovan Dooley, who, former quarterback, who now basically his job is to mentor and help develop young quarterbacks.
Exactly.
So he's seen a lot, and the thing that really caught my attention early in this book is he's got 12 types of quarterback dads, that are not very helpful, and then 3 who are. And then most of this book is, you're doing an outstanding job writing, talking to people around, especially college football, who, have been through these recruiting processes and been through these, weeding out some of these young quarterbacks, and you're always dealing with the dads at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, Adam, something we can all relate to. Like I talked to Fitz and Brett Bielema for the book. I wanted them to give advice to parents and also to ask them about crazy quarterback dads that they've had, guys through the program. And Fitz is like, we've never had one. I'm like, how? He's like, because when the kids are sophomores, we talk to the dad and we say, what kind of quarterback dad are you going to be? And he's like, some of the answers you can't even believe. So if you're the kind of quarterback dad who thinks it's okay to question the offensive coordinator or rip the backup or criticize the offensive line, Northwestern just crosses you out on the board. So that's why they never have crazy quarterback dads. But other programs do, and some are tolerable and some aren't. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a combination of like practical advice for dads, even if your kid is a swimmer or lacrosse player or like mine who are soccer players, and then also wild tales. So I talked to Todd Marinovich, and I talked to Chris and Phil Sims and Warren Moon and Archie Manning, and they've got all these tales of past experiences.
See, I think it's very, very practical, as you just named, not just for the quarterback dad, but for any parent really in any sport. These lessons apply, and I get it. It's super hard. You want your kid to be successful. You want to put him in the best position to succeed. You're going to have lots of emotions when you're watching a football, soccer, or any game, and a call doesn't go your way, or your kid's not out there as much as you think that they should be out there. So I just think like the more parents who would read something like this, it would be better for youth sports in general.
And we all need reminders. So my kids my girls play for the Fire, travel soccer, and Elle is a very good defensive player. But like all of us, like when I play defense, we screw up sometimes. And we're at a game recently, and the goalie's dad is right behind me. And when you're the parent of a defensive player, if they screw up, you feel bad for the goalie. So Elle had a bad play, and I just called out. I said, "Do better." And she turned to me and said, "You're not my coach." And I said, "You're absolutely right. I should not be doing that." But it's a good reminder when we're tempted to holler at the refs, or, one of the things I asked Fitz and Bielema and all these dads is like, should the kid be self-motivated, or should you be the one setting the alarm clock at 6 a.m? And the short answer is, Fitz put it very well. He's like, you got to know your kid. You got to form an individual relationship with your kid, because some of them, let's take the case of the Mannings. Peyton Manning was a nut job. He's the kid who's going to Little League games and screaming at all his teammates, you need to take more infield and you need to take more batting practice. And Archie's like, would you relax? Some kids just want to show up. But maybe you got Eli Manning, who barely says a word, so you got to bring out his personality. So form that individual relationship with your kid, and then you'll know what they need.
Bringing this back to the Bears for a second, I'm not going to pretend like I know Justin Fields' dad. But
they did something right.
Right, seriously.
Coaching or watching, I don't know if you guys watched the QB1 series when Justin was still in high school. Yeah. But you get to know family, but that's kind of that time period that this book's aimed at. Like when these kids are getting recruited, what are the dads like? And you could just tell. I would put him as probably under the hands-off dad category, because he just sort of, he was around, he was in the show, but he always kind of just stayed in the background, gave Justin advice when he needed it. And you could tell now, because we've had a couple press conferences this year, especially early on in the season when Justin was struggling. He's like, yeah, I talked to my dad, and he's still there for him. And I definitely, I can't claim to know Justin Fields' dad, like personally, but he certainly seems like he falls into one of the good dad categories.
And it's so tough nowadays, guys, because like with recruiting, first of all, recruiting takes place so early for quarterbacks. Like it's freshmen and sophomores, and then they're pressured to make these decisions and give verbal, commitments, because there's usually only one quarterback in a class. And then what happens when the coaching staff leaves? What do you do? What about the transfer portal? I mean, and then what about NIL? You want your kid to have a profile and to start to market himself and to be smart, but you don't want him to overdo it. One of the dads in here is Big Dave Uyunglele, DJ's dad.
Oh, yeah.
And Big Dave tweets so relentlessly that DJ blocks him on Twitter. So if your kid is blocking you on Twitter, that's probably a sign that you're overdoing it.
Yeah, that would be concerning.
That's amazing.
He was in that show too, by the way.
I could listen to Teddy say "Uyunglele."
I've worked on it so hard, LB.
DJ Uyunglele.
Who you had? There's a bunch of guys in the book, but one of them got recruited, got his first scholarship offer in 8th grade from Kentucky.
Yeah,
and now he's moving up the food chain. Who am I talking about?
So Trey Taylor is a kid in the northern burbs. He is exceptional. He's basically a mini Patrick Mahomes. I mean, when the kid's 13 years old, we're playing catch, and I was able to catch a bunch, and I'm like, that's it. You're going to break my finger. And he's poised, and he's got an amazing parents. His dad, JR, was a running back at Southern Illinois, very successful. Illinois State, rather. So, yeah, he's in the throes of it right now. He actually got an offer from Maryland when he was in the 9th grade, youngest player in the state of Illinois, we believe, to get a Big Ten or a Power 5 offer as a freshman. So you're going to be hearing about him. You're going to be hearing about Bryce Underwood, who's the top-rated quarterback in the country out of Detroit, because Donovan Dooley trains him as well.
I watched the Bryce because you wrote about Underwood. I went to YouTube and checked him out. Oh my God!
Yeah,
if in 20 years, in 5 years, if we want to have somebody to compete with Justin Fields, that would be a fine choice. He looks unbelievable.
Yeah, he's got the total package. And as a freshman, he goes into Ford Field and leads his team to a state title as a 14-year-old.
I mean, fast,
Cam
throws
Newton.
it. All of it. It wasn't. I get it's on the high school level, but my God, that guy looks.
Yeah, been offered by everywhere good.
Yeah.
Well, I have read pieces of this. I can't wait to read. I appreciate the note you wrote.
Absolutely,
one that
man.
You left me, by the way. Appreciate that.
Thanks.
And want to make sure everyone's checking this out. Quarterback dads, wild tales from the field. The stories will be interesting. And Fitz is actually a quarterback dad himself.
That's what's interesting too.
Yeah.
Fitz, exactly. So he's in that mode now, and he's smart enough to. He's like, I don't know anything about quarterback. I shouldn't say I don't know anything. I don't know as much about quarterback play as some people. So he hands his son off to Dan Persa. And that's another lesson here. Like, even if you played quarterback at, some D2 school, guess what? Stuff's changed. Hand your kid off to a trainer if you can afford it.
I remember getting the Dan Persa, the weight in the Heisman
Oh, the
campaign.
Persa Strong.
Persa Strong.
I think, I still have those dumbbells.
They were 7 pounds, right? Because he was number 7. Is that right?
I mean, LB, man, photographic memory. You gonna start going through like hands you and I have played in poker? And
No, I like to block those out of my memory.
that's a good move.
Playing fucking 2-4 against me. Come on, settle down.
Here it comes.
I'm enjoying the battling in the chat right now.
I'm actually not. I got to be honest. Don Burr's in here. He's our resident Lions fan. He's here every day. I love the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, people hate him, but I get it. Whatever.
Yeah.
He does what he does. And the guys are just going back at him today. Like, let's all settle down. I mean, yes, the Lions won that game.
Can't control the internet.
Yeah.
Can't control the internet, Lawrence.
And there is a way.
Can't control the
Well,
internet.
actually, the guys who are going back and forth with them, there is a way to control them. You just hit block. And
Yeah,
it's not
that's
that hard.
true.
Then you never have to see what he says again.
I had to do that at the Tribune.
And I'm not going to do that because I think he's a valued fan here. So I mean, he's here every day.
We're all in this together. He's allowed to root for the Lions. Somebody's got to do it.
Exactly.
God bless him.
He was able to talk some smack on Sunday and Monday, I'm sure.
You could. That's great. You actually, long term, probably help the Bears, Don Burr. We appreciate it.
That's right.
I wrote a little bit about that this morning.
Did you?
Bears Things newsletter. Now that they are in this position where they're 3-7 with 6th overall pick, it's crazy to look at the. What separates right now a top 5 pick from picking 15th, 16th, 17th. I mean, it is. I called it the bottom-ish middle of the NFL. Right,
Is this a top-heavy draft?
Well, I'm talking about just like how so many teams are 3 wins and 4 wins right now.
Right.
How much you could fall from number 6 right now to 16 in a heartbeat and so to your point about the Lions actually helping the Bears, no question this past week that helped. And then the one thing I wrote about is, okay, now that we're here,
right,
and the possibility you can end up in the top 5, once the order's set. The first thing you should always do, look at the quarterbacks. And in this case, I'm not saying scout the quarterbacks.
No.
I'm talking about what's going on with the quarterback class. how coveted are they?
Yes.
And which teams are going to want to go get those? And, 6 months ago, I think we were talking about this quarterback class, like, oh, it could rival 2021. Like, there might be some really, there could be 5 or 6 first-round picks that we're talking about. I still think C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young end up there high. But I think the buzz has kind of cooled off a little bit. Will Levis is in there.
Yeah, he's had some bad games.
And Hendon Hooker, too, is in there. And I think the Stanford quarterback could be in the mix, too. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling, and it's just a feeling right now, that this is going to be a year where, like last year, it was so bad that the teams just sort of stayed away. But most years, you get teams that want to reach for these guys.
Yeah.
So I don't
like
know.
the Bears did.
Yeah.
Many years ago, reach for a guy.
Yep. It happens. So if you can be the team that can trade back.
Yep.
The team I brought up in what I wrote about is the Eagles, because the Eagles have traded back each of the last 2 years, and not only on draft day, but they did it weeks before the draft. They moved back a little bit. They had a future first rounder, and now here they are. They're 8-1 with a possible top 5 pick this year.
Yes,
because they have the Saints pick. That's where you want to be. That's how you rebuild.
That's how you do it. And I'm a Jets fan, so I hate the Patriots, but that's also how they do it. They never trade up for a quarterback. That's the cardinal sin. The Trubisky thing was so dumb, as many of us said at the time. And now, obviously, the Bears could have had 2 second-rounders, but they have 1 second-rounder, so they need to get a lot out of Chase Claypool.
Yeah, this is the time where it's going to be very early in Ryan Poles' career. Are you a genius, or are you just kind of another NFL GM? I think he's off to a great start. The Claypool thing is interesting and maybe a drop confusing, but I get it. Like, you want to give Justin Fields help right now. You don't want to completely tank the season, perhaps. And you looked at the wide receiver market next year and you thought this was reasonable value. I get it. 2 weeks in, it's not looking, like a home run, but we are 2 weeks in. But we've seen it in the chat and we've heard it on elsewhere and whatever Twitter. Maybe the Bears could get high enough up that somebody would trade up who really wants a quarterback, and you can stock picks, and that would make a lot of sense. Although the other side of it is, if there is some dynamic talent there, a Jamar Chase type who you can pair with Justin Fields, then do you go for the high end? This guy's unbelievable. He's going to be a perennial Pro Bowler, and he makes the offense sing, and we're not trading back because he's just that good. That's why you get paid the big bucks right there.
I mean, drafting offensive players is sexy, but the Bears need, about 6 starters on defense?
At least.
That too. Yeah.
It'd be nice if you could hold a team under 30. I mean, it's going to be hard to win the way they're playing. It's entertaining. I mean, say that much for them, but it's hard to win.
Take the over.
Was it Corey who the other day said they need 5 or 6 linemen?
So
he said 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 or 5.
You need 4 or 5 defensive linemen.
Defensive line.
And there's 4 starting
That's
spots.
where he's trying to be one of them, right?
So hold on. Stud defensive end, stud wide receiver. They're both there. You love them both equally. Who are you guys taking?
Yeesh.
I mean, I hate to cop out, but it depends who it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
If it's Will Anderson from Alabama,
Will Anderson.
I'll take him.
No names. Just a premium defensive end who you think is awesome, or
Pass rush. I go pass rush.
Those are the most
Yeah.
impactful
I go
players
pass rush.
in the league.
Okay. I mean,
Dylan says it's too bad the Bears are going to win out and they're going to go 10-7.
hey,
Bear down.
that'll
Thanks,
be
Dylan.
entertaining, and they'll be in the playoffs if that happens, Dylan. You never know.
So interesting discussion. I actually didn't bring that up. That I stumbled into yesterday when I filled in on the score short notice, and the show had already been planned. I literally parachuted in there as we walked in, and I had no idea this was happening. But they had lined up a talk show host from Seattle and talk show host from Baltimore to talk about what the Seahawks did once they got Russell Wilson, what the Ravens did once they got Lamar Jackson. How did they build around him? And I think the biggest takeaway from both of those situations actually was neither team really went out and got a stud wide receiver.
Right.
Okay, but then you look at the Dolphins, and they went out and traded 5 draft picks for Tyreek, and that whole thing looks completely different.
Sure, but we'll see what they the point is, can they win a Super Bowl? Now, the Seahawks managed to do it, and they had an outstanding defense, and they decided now they were in a different spot than the Bears too. They had Russell Wilson was almost the last piece that they got.
I'm trying to remember DK Metcalf. Was he a high draft?
Second round pick.
Second round, so brilliant scouting.
Yeah. So second round pick there. And I think that a lot of people will tell you can find those types of wide receivers. Like, let's see what George Pickens turns into in Pittsburgh, right? He's second-round pick.
Amazing athlete.
You know, you look, it's quarterback and then it's pressuring the quarterback. That's how this league works. So one of the Bears' biggest problems right now is they cannot pressure the quarterback. But my point is, if you do end up there in the top 5, even top 3 would be great, right? You can move back a couple spots.
Yes.
And still get one of those studs on the D-line.
Because they're not one player away.
Or Peter Skoronski at left tackle in the top 10 still.
Oh, go Cats. So sad. Go home.
Go. Make it stop. Okay. I listen, I just offense is sexier, that's all. And I look at the Bengals, and you got Jamar Chase, and you ended up
now.
And then he gets hurt. But that could happen anywhere. Maybe it's more likely at the wide receiver position, I guess. But you ended up in the Super Bowl that way. But they need defense, so you can't really go wrong when you have this many needs, I guess. But I would just be a little bit more excited if we had a stud wide receiver at this particular time.
I mean, even the Commanders, like, they're winning. They beat the Eagles really because of their defense. It certainly wasn't because of the quarterback. Nice story there. But they were able to pressure Jalen Hurts, and then enough Eagles screwed up to help them out.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got rational thought
Rush
going
the
on
passer.
here.
Sorry.
Rush the
That's how
passer.
you win.
Okay, fine. I'm in. I'll flip that easily. Let's go.
Well, we got
stock the defense.
Good
Go
news.
ahead.
You got some time to flush that argument out, okay? The draft is not tomorrow.
Yeah.
162 days now, is that right?
Yeah, we have been counting it down all week, though.
Oh, my God. Where is the draft this year?
Kansas City.
Oh, road trip? You guys headed there?
Joe's Barbecue. Let's
I
go.
love
Kansas City.
KC. I would
Let's
go back
do
to
podcast at Joe's Barbecue. Give me the Z-Man.
Now I'm really hungry.
Never wanted to leave. Fired by
That's
Ryan
it.
McGuire.
Literally wearing my Joe's Barbecue
Rabbit hole.
shirt right now.
You're wearing a Joe's Barbecue shirt right now?
Yeah.
You're going to have to pop your camera on for that one.
Overrated, but
Oh my
very
God.
good.
Wow.
The Z-Man sandwich is absolutely delicious.
I
It's
A
amazing.
mentalist that you were able to somehow, get that in the show.
Who
so
knew we'd
that's
talk
amazing.
Kansas City? I just was enjoying my...
It's a great town, and Teddy, it's a great tennis town. Really good tennis town.
And if you're there, you got to go see our guy Bob Kendrick at the Negro League.
Bob
Hall
Kendrick's
of
a
Fame.
great man.
He's the best. So
The Negro League Museum is awesome.
Yes.
I've heard great things. I've never.
that is-
I would love to see that. All right, real quick, Teddy, cover your ears because DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, they have their unbeatable offers, and you should be using code CHGO when you sign up. Right now, new customers can make any $5 NFL bet, get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Check this out, because in addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. And to make things even sweeter, you can throw down on stepped-up same-game parlays once per game day all season long. The more legs you have in that stepped-up same-game parlay, the bigger the boost is when you win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code CHGO to get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Just place a $5 bet on any football game only at DraftKings Sportsbook using code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
So, Blackhawks Blues tonight. Cheapest ducket available right now on Game Time tickets. You're in for $36. And if you want to go behind the net with a nice row 18, beautiful, nice elevation. Who's the Blackhawks goalie? Anybody? No chance. I'm going to go no chance.
he would know.
It's Soderblom. Soderblom's going in the net.
Soderblom's
Arvid Soderblom.
I thought that's who Carm plays in tennis tonight.
No, that's Kirschenbaum.
Oh, okay.
That's how bad he wants to beat Carm. He's blowing off the Hawks game.
So you can go see Soderblom.
Soderblom.
Where's Jay Zawoski? Where's Mario? They're actually
Save
here.
us.
Hey, I've gone to more Hawks games this year than in the last 10 years. So I'm enjoying it. No, I've been twice.
You went twice?
I've been twice,
And you don't know the goalie's
I have
name.
no idea. I mean, I know it. He was great when I was there, let me tell you.
Big fan.
I couldn't name anybody else on the roster either, but I had a great time. It was awesome.
But this is why we do this at CHGO. We don't try to BS. This is why we have a separate Blackhawk show for you.
Listen,
so that you don't have to hear Carman guess the goalie that he plays in tennis.
Shout out to Marlene Wells at WGN Radio, who got me tickets, and yes, they were in the upper tank, and then I snuck down and sat in the front row of the glass. They're friendly over there right now. They want to fill the seats. Right? I mean, come on. But the better way to do this, if you don't have Marlene, is go through Game Time. The hottest new ticketing site makes it easier than ever to score the best deals. Sporting events, concerts, shows, whatever you want to do here. Bring Teddy's book along. Let's go. 20-minute intermissions. You got time. You can read a chapter, as we just said earlier. You will not find a better deal than on Game Time tickets. And I keep telling you this. I priced it out. Here's the price over at those other places, StubHub, you know the names. It's cheaper at Game Time, so you want to be there. 15 million people have downloaded the Game Time app, and if you want to support CHGO, we love you for it. Best way to do that is buying your tickets in the link that's in the description. Get her done. Go see the Hawks tonight. Go see the Bulls on Friday night. Go see the Bears and the Packers. They got it all for you. Game Time tickets. Let's go. Can we...
I have one thing on the book real quick.
Yeah.
What was it you said earlier about Trey Taylor, the quarterback?
Yeah, so he's in Crystal Lake. He got offered by Maryland.
Why the hell would he want to go
Mini
there?
Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, Maryland would do wonders to take that.
Mini Patrick
call.
Mahomes, they call him?
I call him.
Yeah.
Are we getting a
Why?
check-in from Hallis Hall?
Yeah, we are.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But can we, before we do that, do we have time or no? Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say, because I know Trey a little bit, and he's funny because he's got some his wardrobe is basically 5 different Big Ten schools, and I give him a hard time about that.
It's going to be. I can't wait to see where he chooses.
It's going to be.
You got an early prediction?
No, I definitely do not.
Yeah.
But he's a good kid
Amazing
and
kid.
talented, and that's going to be fun to see.
Be a Wildcat. You want to play in Evanston in the new stadium. When's that going to be built?
Next Thursday.
Just crazy. He's not even in high school
What are we
yet.
talking about?
Perfect time to, wait, no, am I a booster? I probably can't. I don't even know. Are there NCAA rules anymore?
Probably.
I don't even know.
I don't honestly, I have no idea.
I think you're fine.
I don't know
Yeah.
any of the rules.
Yeah.
So, we are going to check it. What were you going to say?
No, I'll do it after Nick.
Okay, yeah. Nick is at Hallis Hall standing by. We've had press conferences from the head coach, Matt Eberflus, and the quarterback, Justin Fields. Nick, what did we learn today?
What's going on, everybody? There's a lot to go over. And real quickly, news update from Matt Eberflus is how we kind of started today's press conference. Matt Adams will be activated later today. The Bears also signed Taco Charlton, who Eberflus and Ryan Poles are both familiar with. He was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. He had a brief stint with the Kansas City Chiefs, so they know the guy that they're getting and hoping he could be a part of the rotation for the Bears defensive line. And to make room for Charlton, the Bears also waived Kingsley Jonathan off the defensive line. And then obviously, as you guys have already talked about on today's show, Herbert going to IR. And Matt Eberflus was talking about with Herbert that he feels comfortable with him being able to come back at some point later this season, like where he's at in terms of the injury, and obviously we'll miss that time, but it's going to be tough to replace a guy, and obviously Treston Ebner is that next man up. I want to take this discussion real quickly, Mark. We were talking about in yesterday's podcast about how Matt Eberflus kind of handled the injury with Jalen Johnson, right? And how they ended up handling it. And basically, Eberflus wants everyone to know that he's not insensitive for players playing through pain. He wants everybody to know that. He brought that up today. But he did say that everyone plays through pain, but we just expect those players to play if they say they can. So it's a part of the players to, make sure they're communicating effectively with whether it's the position coach, the head coach, that they are capable of playing through this pain. But I know that was a big topic of discussion in yesterday's podcast, but not insensitive to it. He knows how it kind of maybe sounded on Monday, but he isn't insensitive to how these players are playing through pain. He understands it's not the most easy thing to do, but he just wanted to make that apparent in today's press conference. He was also asked about Velus Jones and what he's not showing the coaching staff at this point to be able to get on the active roster. And Matt Eberflus broke it down this way. Every single week they look at the roster, and there's always a couple of players where you're wondering, whether or not they're going to be active on game day, and it comes down to special teams. And then you look at the individual. He said for Velus Jones Jr., and I thought it was interesting how he mentioned, like, for him specifically, he's a gadget guy. He's good on the jet sweeps and end arounds and blocking at the perimeter. Nothing was said about actually running routes downfield for the position that, he was drafted to be, right? So it's interesting how he kind of laid it out what Velus Jones Jr. does for this offense at this point. A gadget guy, sweeps, end arounds, and blocking downfield, but takes that all into account when thinking about whether or not he's going to have somebody active on game day. And then kind of the last big point here, he was also asked about Chase Claypool and the urgency to get him into the offense. Not, they're going to work. They're not going to work everything in just 1 week, obviously, with getting him involved, and they'll do things as cater to his strengths. But he also mentioned we're going to do that for every player. But and then Jason Leisure had a good follow up, but he's not just every player. You use a second round draft pick to go get this guy. And then all Matty Raflus said about that was like, we just want to get all of our guys touches. So it doesn't seem like there's a big urgency to get him, completely involved yet, because again, they're spreading the wealth and trying to get everybody involved in the Bears offense.
How about Justin Fields? This is a little bit of a homecoming. I shouldn't say a little bit. It really is a homecoming. He grew up just outside Atlanta. I know he talked a little bit today with you guys, Nick, about going to Falcons games growing up.
Yeah, so he was, asked if this means anything to him. He doesn't know, Justin Fields doesn't know how many people are going to be there. He knows his mom, dad, and his sister are going to be at the game, but he was a Falcons fan growing up. Julio Jones and Matt Ryan were his favorite players growing up, and I don't know if for you guys that makes. When I heard that, I'm like, man, his favorite player growing up was Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. Like I feel a little bit older, just hearing him say that, right? Because those are still players in the NFL right now, but just he was a Falcons fan. His dad had season tickets, but it is a bit of a homecoming for Justin Fields. He was also asked about what he wants to see for this offense moving forward. They've been scoring 30 plus points over the last several weeks, but obviously he said he wants to see him keep putting those points up on the board. But the main thing is when there's an opportunity to finish, especially like at the last 2 minutes of a game, that's where this offense needs to take the next step. We've heard similar things from Cole Kmet before, Matt Eberflus, and so that's kind of the focus now for this Bears offense. When there's an opportunity to close out a game in those final 2 minutes, that's where he wants to see the offense improve. And then he was asked about his reset mentality when going through adversity, and he kind of had a neat story about when he was 6 years old and playing t-ball. He remembers striking out and just wanting to cry, and that's where that reset mentality came in, where it's like, well, you can't do anything about the past, and you have to worry about what's happening now. And then he was asked, like, did you actually strike out during t-ball? It's kind of tough to do, even if you're 6 years old. And he's like, no, no, guys, it wasn't that bad, but he kind of learned that reset mentality early on in his just in sports growing up. So that's where he kind of learned that. He was also asked about his chemistry with Chase and how that's moving along now that he's heading into his third game, Chase Claypool. But he said they're getting better each week, knowing the routes and staying after with him. Justin will always stay after practice with a lot of the receivers, but he's making it a point to stay after practice with Chase Claypool, getting him up to speed. But he knows it's tough. Like, a lot of these routes have a lot of nuances to them, and it's going to be a slow process kind of getting Chase Claypool acclimated to where he wants to be. And then just kind of the last point here, you guys, he was asked about Jeff Okudah and just their relationship. Obviously, he had the pick six on Justin Fields last week, but they were best friends growing up in Columbus, lived in the same apartment building, would go into each other's apartments and, just play video games. But he said they didn't talk much during the game. Before and after they did. They also exchanged a jersey at the end there. But yeah, he said the pick six, even though it was hard to see that happen, he was deserving of it because he knows how hard Jeff Okudah works. And, obviously those guys are competitors, but he was one of Justin's best friends growing up, especially in his time at Ohio State.
All right, Nick, appreciate it. I know you got to get out to the practice field. Make sure you're following Nick at Nicholas Moriano on Twitter. More updates, locker room coverage coming later today, allchgo.com. Thanks, Nick.
All right, you guys.
All right, there he is. I wanted to bring out one thing to close out the show when it comes to Fields. that he also said today because someone followed up. Remember after the game on Sunday, he mentioned he was kind of sore. And someone followed up today and was like, so how you feeling? A few days later, those hits you took. And he's like, not actually the hits as much as he said his legs are just sore from all the running.
Huh.
Does that worry you at all?
A little, only from the standpoint that if he's not as fresh, he's maybe in harm's way more than he should be. That's how I would get to some level of
He still
concern.
looked pretty damn fast on the 67-yard run.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. He clocked only at like 20.1.
That's it.
Slowing down.
He's slowing
He's
down.
no Brees Hall,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
By the way, Bears getting 3.5 this weekend in Atlanta. Total is 50.5, so it should be another entertaining game. I don't know what Justin Fields' rush total is, but maybe this is a week to go under.
Yeah, maybe.
Finally.
I took the under last week. That did not work out.
Well, why not hold on, though?
Herbert.
Without Herbert, how do we take the under on his rushing yards?
So that's
I mean, I guess it depends what the number is.
I think the smart thing is still to take the over. See how it,
I mean, dude has had an unbelievable year, Khalil Herbert. 6
Yes.
yards a carry.
So productive. Jesus.
I mean, come on.
600 yards.
643 yards. I mean, this guy's been.
It's a loss. It's definitely
Yes.
it's definitely a significant loss. I do think that it's something they can overcome. Their number one rushing attack is because really they have three of these guys, because I include Fields in that. He's their
Right.
number one rusher, and he's still there, and Montgomery's still more than capable.
Does anybody want to see, besides me, Velus Jones at running back?
Is there anything to lose? Well, I guess he could lose the
Thank
football.
you.
That could be bad.
Thank you. I see nothing to lose other than the football, which
he tends to
that's-
do.
That's fine.
Tank win.
Tank win
Well, why are you skipping over Treston Ebner?
because he's Treston Ebner and he doesn't have the upside of Velus Jones.
How do you know that? Just because of where he was drafted?
Have you watched Treston Ebner?
Jack
doesn't-
Sanborn was
Treston-
undrafted.
Treston Ebner cannot run like Velus Jones can run.
He was fat. He was a kick returner.
Yeah, whenever I watch him on kick return now, dude's slow.
Well, I think he's a little apprehensive. I don't think he's running full speed. I agree with you. He has looked slow on the few opportunities he had. I think we're going back to the preseason now with our memories. But
Thank you, Mubs. Good to be on Team Mubs for a minute.
all I'm saying is, well, first of all, I'm okay with either idea. I think they're more interested in developing your guy as a wide receiver. But if you are going to be in a position where you might move on from David Montgomery in the offseason, you should know what you have in Treston Ebner.
That's fine. Let's get Ebner some snaps. But how about just 5 touches in the next 4 weeks for Velus running the football? One
Just want
point.
Velus in there because they're playing Cordero Patterson and he's mini Cordero.
I want Velus in there because he's a 3rd-round draft pick who they bet big on, and he can't catch and he can't return punts, and let's find something for him to do. So maybe he can be a running back. I doubt it, but I'd like to find out. That's all.
Throw a little money on him to score a touchdown one of these weeks. It
There we
pays
go.
handsomely.
There we go. Absolutely.
Let's get this super chat from the Duke, our guy.
What up, Duke?
He says, is it true they are turning Samis Reyes into an edge rusher on the practice squad? Think they would try to convert Velus into a cornerback where catching isn't quite as... Yeah, I did hear that. He's moved positions. Don't get caught up. I appreciate the super chat. Don't get too caught up in all that.
Is Jake Flanagan right that Treston Ebner had a 4.43? And why
He's
doesn't he have
fast.
Why doesn't he have an avatar? It's our GM, man.
Why does he not have
Maybe
a-
that's a Jake Flanagan bot.
I'm wondering if it's a bot for Flanagan.
the Flanny bot.
I didn't know he ran a 4.43. I'll admit it. That's bad Carm research right there. So my apologies.
Well, no, but same thing I said about Sanborn, though. It still applies. Your playing speed is more important than your 40 time.
Exactly.
So if you play slow, I don't care what if you ran a 4, whatever.
4.43 confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And excellent point, Hoge. Who cares what he ran in the 40? When there's guys out there and he's looking around, he's terrified. He looks like he's running an 8. So
8 flat, baby.
There's the real Jake Flanagan. Called him a bot.
okay.
They're botting Flanagan now. Come on now.
Love it.
All right. Hey, Teddy, appreciate you being here today.
By quarterback dads.
Quarterback dads.
You'll be happy you did.
Very interesting book. A lot of good
audio
stories.
version coming out soon, or you can buy that very copy on Amazon, of course. I'm excited for some ping pong, although you probably call it table tennis.
No, ping pong all day.
Okay.
Let's go. We got 26 minutes of ping pong time before I got to do something. So we got to end the show. It's very important.
All right, I gotta go to the house too. Follow us
That's
on
a deadline.
Follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at the Carm. You're just at Teddy Greenstein, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
At Teddy Greenstein.
Yeah, and make sure you are following us, allchgo.com. There's also a website for the book, quarterbackdads.com. Check that out as well. Appreciate you being here, Teddy. We're back. Well, you and I are not back tomorrow. We'll be at Hallis, but
Big Bears After Dark tomorrow night. And, of course, check out Will and Nick tomorrow.
Will and Nick have your preview show, the full breakdown, Bears and Falcons tomorrow, right here at noon. Talk to you then.
Thank you.